I want to welcome everyone to our September 17th, 2020 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting. If you will, bow your heads and pray with me. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the gifts that we receive from you. We ask that you watch over the men and women of our armed forces as well as all of our emergency responders. I ask for wisdom and understanding for this court. Grant us humility in our everyday life and give us the courage to make right decisions for our Daviess County community. And we ask that you especially watch over all those families who have lost loved ones to COVID-19 or who are suffering and struggling through that disease right now. We ask all of these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Once again, I want to welcome everyone to our September 17, 2020 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting. The first item on the agenda, Jenny?
Proclaim September 17 through 23, 2020 as Constitution Week.
Whereas today marks the 233rd anniversary of the drafting of the United States Constitution by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. Now, therefore, in Daviess County, Kentucky, I, Daviess County Judge Executive Al Mattingly, do hereby proclaim September 17th through the 23rd, 2020, as Constitution Week, and ask citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to all through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. And we will have this emailed, and what we're going to do, Commissioners, if you don't mind, let's go down in front and we'll get a picture, and then we'll email the picture. They got an email address, George. I imagine you'll scan it and email it.
Yes. B, Treasurer's Report for August 2020.
Mr. Hendricks.
Total cash balance is $39,332,126. General fund, $16,060,335. It's obviously just the beginning of our new fiscal year, but everything's going as we anticipated thus far.
This is just a report. It's on file in the fiscal court offices, second floor, 212 St. Anne Street. You're welcome to come and get a copy if you wish. Commissioners, any questions of the treasurer? Next item, Jenny.
Item 2, consideration for approval, A, minutes of the September 3rd, 2020 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting.
Motion approved. Second.
I have a motion and second. Commissioners, you've all had a copy of the minutes in your possession for some time. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
B, all claims for all departments.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Again, Commissioners, you've all had a copy of the bills due and payable by Daviess County Fiscal Court in your possession for some time. Any questions of the treasurer? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
C, Resolution 23, 2020, and agreement regarding fiscal year 2021 rural secondary road program funds.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Brasher.
Yes, Judge. This is a standard annual agreement that we get with the Highway Department. It is in regards to what we call the flex funds. We submitted our roads a couple of months ago. They are reflected in this agreement. I would recommend approval.
These are the funds that fiscal court decided to keep, and instead of using them on state rural secondary roads, we will use them on our county roads.
Correct.
Okay. Question or comment, Commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
D, award the following, and I will note that all of these numbers end with 2020. RFQ 11, trailer floor repair. Bid number 33, Schertzinger building renovation. Bid number 40, 2 new walking floor trailers. I did not get tongue-tied.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Mr. Johnson, will you read through these as we normally do? Pause at the end of each one to allow question or comment.
Yes, sir. Starting with RFQ 11-2020, this quote is to remove and repair floor slats and replace bearings and start blocks for unit number 180, a 2017 East Unloader walking floor trailer at the Grimes Avenue Transfer Station. We received 3 quotes ranging from $13,802.39 to $18,163.20 and recommend pursuing the lowest and best evaluated quote of Magnum Welding Incorporated in the amount of $13,802.39. This is budgeted maintenance. There were no exceptions, and I would recommend approval.
Magnum has done these repairs in the past.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any question or comment, Commissioners? Next item.
Bid 33, 2020, the Schertzinger building renovation. This bid is for all renovation work necessary to accommodate Parks Administration, EMA, and the primary county emergency operations center in the Schertzinger facility. It is also our first step to allow for space to secure a Real ID site in Daviess County. We received 4 bids ranging from $45,000 to $52,345 and recommend the lowest and best evaluated bid of Danco Construction in the amount of $45,000. There were no exceptions to our bid specifications, and I would recommend approval.
Commissioners, question, comment? Jordan, I know you did, but I hope you emphasize with the low bidder that we do not accept and will not look favorably upon any ads if they
Yes, sir.
find something that's they should have
Change orders
done.
will be unacceptable.
Okay, next item.
Bid number 40, 2020. This bid is for the provision of 2 new walking floor trailers for the Grimes Avenue Transfer Station. These trailers will replace 2 2012 East Unloader units that were offered as trade-in consideration to offset the total purchase price. We received 3 bids ranging from a net $138,000 to a net $150,364 and recommend the best evaluated bid submitted by Vomac Truck Sales for 2 2022 East Unloader units in the amount of $145,600. The low bid had several exceptions outside of what the county deems acceptable, including a 5th wheel plate assembly that we've had trouble with in the past and a lack of a local service location. For this reason, we believe the $7,600 differential to the next lowest bid, roughly 5% of the total bid, provides a higher value to the court. These are budgeted replacements. There are no exceptions, and I would recommend approval.
Commissioners?
So, Jordan,
Vomac, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask that the part where you mentioned the 5th wheel that we've had problems with, did we specify that we didn't want that one?
Yes, we specified a Huck bolted 5th wheel or 5th plate assembly.
Okay.
Vomac, we have purchased from them before.
Yes, sir.
Any other question or comment? There being none, all in favor of the 3 bids as recommended by staff, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
E, surety bond release for Paradise Landing, Unit 5.
Motion approved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Brasher?
Yes, Judge. The developer has requested the final release of surety for Paradise Landing, which is for the streets and sidewalks. My office has reviewed the public infrastructure, and we recommend approval of that release.
Any question or comment, Commissioners? Mark, for the life of me, and I didn't look, Paradise Landing,
Kidron Valley, I think is what it's called, the street, it's by Goodwill off of 54.
okay,
next to
yes,
Walmart.
yes, I know where you're at now. Do they have any bond left after we release
No,
this?
is the
This
final
will finish
bond
it.
as far as we're concerned.
Okay. Any other question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
F, second reading of 1122 KOC 8.99 2020 and ordinance relating to the adoption of the 2020 Davis County tax rates.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Hendricks.
Yes, I read the rates into the record at the first reading, but to summarize, the court must adopt its tax rates every year. This year on the real property, it dropped from 13.5 cents per hundred to 13.4 because the court decided to take the compensating rate. Tangible personal property was allowed to be about 1757 under the calculation that we use. However, the court has decided to leave the tangible personal property rate alone at the current rate, which is 16.37. This is the second reading.
Question or comment? At last meeting, Mr. Treasurer explained the compensating rate was the rate at which we would achieve approximately the same revenue that we received last year.
Ignoring new property, yes, sir.
Ignoring new property and the fact that PVA had made a round increasing property rates. In order to achieve that, we had to lower the rate by 0.1%. Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Any other question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
G, second reading of 12/2020 KOC 220.33, 2020, an ordinance relating to a proposed increase of the occupational net profit license fee by person and business entities conducting business, occupations, and professions within Daviess County, Kentucky, as numerously amended.
Can I get a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Hendricks.
This ordinance simply revises the existing ordinance on the books. That ordinance that's currently exists increased the rate from 0.35 to 0.70 effective 1/1 of 20, so this year, and would also increase that rate from 0.70 to 1.00 or 1% effective 1/1/21. This ordinance delays that increase for a full year, so the second phase of the increase will not take place until 1/1/22.
Commissioners, I think we have talked about this before. Because of COVID, we understand that the issues that folks are suffering out there, that both those who are working by the hour for wages as well as their employers. So this would also affect net profits tax. I think that you guys have done a good job working with the various departments that you're liaison to. I think the treasurer and staff up here has done a good job, and we're going to be able to manage through and still deliver all the goods and services to the public that we should be giving them. And I think delaying a year is the proper thing to do. Any question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
3, consideration for discussion, A, first reading of 13/2020 KOC 8.98.01, 2020, budget amendment number 1.
Mr. Hendricks, since this is the first reading, we don't need a motion or a second, so would you explain to us why we're doing this?
You know, normally at the end of the year, we do budget transfers, and we don't have to do this because the budget transfers do not increase the budget. Budget amendments must take place when we have receipts that were not budgeted, actually will increase the amount of the budget. In this instance, it won't affect cash net, but it does affect the receipts, and therefore it affects expenses because we have to balance. So I'm revising the budget and filing this amendment primarily for 3 reasons. The first part is that there's a mental health court revenue that the county attorney had gotten last year, and he's going to get again, but we did not, or I did not realize we were going to get it. It wasn't awarded until after we had turned the budget in, and I had not continued it. So that money has not been reported. So we're going to have a revenue of $77,000, and then you can see the related expenses to that as to where that money is going to be spent. The second part is for the federal reimbursement CARES funds of $3,456,063. That's the amount Daviess County has been allocated by the CARES Act. That money was not budgeted, and we must budget it. And as you saw today, there's an announcement that we received the first reimbursement of $1.4 million. And then we will file in the next 30 to 40 days the second piece of that to recover most of the rest of it. But it was unbudgeted, therefore we must add it to our budget. And there is a offset for the expenses where that money's going to go, primarily to frontline fire department workers and frontline sheriff department workers. The third item that we're amending has to do with a state reimbursement of $400,000 that we should have received. It's just got delayed a little bit. We should have received it in the prior fiscal year, but we received it in this fiscal year. And it wouldn't be too big of an issue, but I also have some expenses that got carried over from last year to this year of about the same amount. And so I need to report that money in order to get enough cash reported to pay it out. We have enough cash, but not if you look at the budget. So I'm adjusting the budget basically to reflect reality and to report these items that had not been previously budgeted, either because they weren't known or because of timing. But again, the bottom line is at the end of the year, there is no net cash impact of this. We're not spending more than we planned. We have a grant to offset, or we have revenue coming in to offset. So it's not a negative impact on cash.
Commissioners, any questions or comments for the treasurer? Jim, in part, the CARES money, we didn't think we were going to qualify for it. We found out that we were. Of course, all it did was it helped boost up the cash position that we have.
Yeah, the guidance that was issued by the Treasury and then backed up by DLG from about 4 different presentations that very ones of us sat through, recorded, we have documentation for, and yeah, the way the guidance came out with the frontline workers is these salaries are, we already knew the PP&E and stuff would either be eligible through this program or through the FEMA reimbursement. That was not an issue. But there was some question about the salaries. But the guidance that has been issued states that these are eligible. We have clearly identified what the items were when we filed. We have every ounce of support documentation that they poured through to make sure that the expense was accurately reported and adequately supported, and they approved it. So,
Okay. Any other question or comment? Next item, Jenny.
B, other business to be brought before the Daviess County Fiscal Court.
Have none.
C, public comments.
This is a time during our meeting in which we would normally ask the public to step forward to the podium, identify themselves, and they're welcome to make statements or ask questions on anything other than what was on the budget. I continually forget to ask David if you've gotten any questions regarding any of the items on the budget. There is a delay in this, so what I'm going to do is allow, if you have a public comment, you're certainly welcome to text it in, send it in on our Facebook, our Facebook page. And after we have comments by the fiscal court members, then I'll ask David again if you've got anything. So I'll start out with Commissioner Coger.
Pass.
Commissioner Wathen.
I don't have anything. Pass.
Commissioner Castlin.
Well, I know we never do anything with Halloween. A lot of times people, they bring up the issue of Halloween. And particularly if it's a Sunday night or something, they want it changed, and we don't do anything with that. That's our history. Anyway, I got a text from somebody saying, please don't cancel trick or treating here this year. So,
I'm looking for guidance from the health department.
okay.
And I've noticed where there have been some other communities, I think will have Halloween. I just don't know that it will be the traditional type. I agree with them. One of my favorite holidays. I don't like to change it. But with the, Daviess County, we've had roughly 1,100 cases of COVID-19 and several deaths. And while children don't get it, let me back that up. They get it. Thank you. The county attorney's looking at me sideways. children can get it, the effect on the child is not like it would be on someone as old as you.
I understand.
Okay. You have a lot of little tykes running around in face masks.
Right.
That may be taking it from door to door, but I think we've got some time to make that decision and look for guidance from the health department and other folks to see what other communities are doing. So
Okay.
I agree with that person. I would hate to see us cancel it. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Jordan, look at me and tell me, is it Friday or Saturday that we have our shred event? Friday. So tomorrow from 10 to 1, thank you. From 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Sports Center parking lot. You can bring up to 100 pounds of papers, documents, whatever it is that you would like to shred, because it has some sensitive material, and that's open to residential and commercial businesses and folks. 100 pounds, so don't show up with 105 pounds. If you do, you have to take 5 pounds home. Talks Away Day, October the 10th at the Operations Center. Mark, you're going to be out there helping them, right? Talks Away Day is the opportunity that you get to dispose of hazardous materials such as paint and paint thinners and batteries and all those things that normally are not taken by the city or at the county sanitation transfer station. We do not, and they will not, and they will turn you away if you bring ammunition, explosives, tires. What else was there on there? Oh, TVs and those appliances and those kinds of things. So we have other days. We have Tire Day at least once a year, so I'm sure we will have something like that here in the near future. But that's from 8 to noon on October the 10th. So gather up your household hazardous waste and bring it out. Today, Representative Suzanne Miles and I had a very nice conversation, and you can see that conversation on our Facebook page. It'll be up tomorrow. And it talks about Real ID and where it's going and what we're doing and why we did it and why we really worked hard to get a regional office here. I think it's really good as a follow-up. Once we get the office open, and I hope, Jordan, it's by the 1st of January, we will probably follow Ms. Miles through the process of getting a Real ID. So she'll go out and we'll take her through and we'll get to watch all those kinds of things. I wondered how we redact her social security number and all those sensitive documents. But anyway, it'll be fun to do that. Jordan Rowe, by the way, our new communications director, hit the ground running, has done a really good job. Jordan, I want to thank you for that. The problem is I got to loosen him up some, and he's got to quit squealing when he's driving in the front of my truck with me. He just has to stop that. In talking to the commissioners and with COVID and what's going on, we are just going to keep our courtroom open only to staff members, to the staff and to the commissioners and myself until the governor lifts his ban. And right now we've been doing it on a month-to-month basis. I think instead of doing it month-to-month, we'll just keep it closed through the 31st of December, through the rest of the year. That way we can adjust it back if we get a vaccine, if there's some kind of whatever happens, then we can decide to open it back up. And I suspect when we open it back up, it will be to a limited number of folks initially, and they will have to follow all the rules and regulations, come in with masks and all that. But I think that's probably the best thing. Commissioners, I'll kind of look at you guys, nod of your head if you're okay doing that. Lastly, David, have we had anything? Okay. Lastly, at the end of the meeting last time, Monument Committee. As you are aware, we appointed our monument committee, and they have been busy organizing. I've had some texts and emails about where in the world they are. All we're hearing are crickets. Well, it takes a while to get things organized. Jordan has been working with the committee members, setting up email addresses and those kinds of things. Remember, public comments at daviessky.org is where you would get in touch with any of the recommendations that you would have. Their first meeting will be the 23rd of September at 4 p.m. And you can go and watch it. It will be streamed live, Jordan, on the Facebook page, correct? So they will all be meeting Zoom, but that meeting will be streamed live on the Facebook page. Now, at that time, you're not going to be able to join in with the committee, but you'll be able to see what they're doing and what they're saying and how things are going. If you have comments, you need to use the public comments at daviessky.org. Lastly, at the end of the meeting last time, I had a gentleman who asked why I didn't read a letter that we had received, and all of you were copied from the Daughters of the Confederacy. The simple fact is we don't read letters into the record for people. The question would be, whose letter, whose comment do we choose to read in? And all of you were like me. We got hundreds and hundreds of comments and pretty long comments. And so we didn't. But I would tell you that the Daughters of the Confederacy sent a letter to Daviess County Fiscal Court regarding the statue. And I have forwarded that letter on to the Monument Committee so that and have asked that they look at that as well as other things. So just wanted to let that person know that's not a habit that we're in, because we could have been up here all night reading things into the record. So if there is no other business to be brought before Daviess County Fiscal Court tonight, without exception, we're adjourned.